Hi, this is Chris Mendenhall sitting in for Darbe Nokes with Dave Baberaki, the broker and owner of Pacific Shores Real Estate Inc. Thanks for coming in today, Dave. I wanted to talk about mortgages, but he wants to talk about houses, so Dave's in charge. But I was telling you, I met with a client this week, and he recently divorced, and I don't know how recently, but he was concerned about, we were talking about real estate now. When he sold his house, as circumstance of his divorce, within 90 days, he sold his house for $550 down in Corona. Within 90 days, he said they were selling upwards, in the high 600, 700,000. He felt like, when they marketed the house, it wasn't based in, the current real estate, circumstances. He felt like it was, probably the year before comparable sales or something. He didn't know, and he felt like he had missed out on a huge opportunity. So if you're thinking about buying or selling, let's talk about selling first.
Well, first of all, it doesn't cost you any more to have the right real estate agent represent you. But picking the wrong real estate agent and the wrong brokerage could cost somebody thousands, maybe even hundred thousands of dollars. Markets in real estate are always changing. It's pretty simple. When you have more sellers than buyers, prices will go down. When you have
what?
Yeah, when you have more sellers than buyers, then prices will get pushed down.
Yeah.
When you have more buyers than sellers, prices go up. So last year, especially the first part of 2013, we had a real scarcity of inventory, which drove prices up really quickly. And we were coming out, and people wanted those short sale prices, those foreclosure prices, and that drove prices up in some areas as high as 30% in 1 year, and that was in 2013. Unfortunately, when markets going up fast or down fast, they actually tend to overshoot themselves. And so what's happened over this year, we've actually trying to, okay, where's the market at? Okay, this is pretty much where the market is. So we don't expect any hyper inflation in prices this year, but we don't, or anything drastically falling off the table as far as prices going down. We see a more stabilized market, but right now, I personally think there's some slight downward pressure because there is a lot of inventory out there.
So if I listed my house, and I had an open house, and you sat at an open house, and there's one or two people coming by, I may have priced the house too high. Or if I had it in an open house and there's like 20 people through, and they're hanging out and they're trying to figure out how to buy it, maybe I had it priced too low, or how.
Well, it's pricing is always a key in selling a home. If you price it too high, you get nobody looking at the property. If you price it too low, you leave money on the table. So pricing is always, but it's always not just where prices are headed. What's the direction of a market? In the end of 2006 and beginning of 2007, we had people that were thinking their houses were worth way more, and we knew what happened in the end of 2007, 2008, where prices in some areas, fell almost 50%.
Yeah, I know my son bought a house for $400,000, and what you're talking about, it fell to $270,000.
Right.
And fortunately, he sold it this year, and basically sold it for what he
and
paid
so
for.
the broker that's on top and communicates best with their clients, this is where the market's going, usually helps their clients win. So the clients in the beginning of 2007 that reduced, he may have had to reduce $10,000 to sell his house, but he wanted to sell in the next couple of years. If he would have waited 3 months, he may have had to reduce it $40,000 or $50,000 to sell it. So the communication becomes incredibly key of what's going on with the market. And some markets right now may differ slightly locally as far as supply and demand, but there's other areas that it's pretty much standard. But if you're not getting a lot of showings on your property, it's generally the brokers feel that it's overpriced. So but in a normal market, things don't sell in 2 to 3 days. It will usually take, still 60 to 90 days if they're priced correctly. But we've had extremes of both markets over the last 5 years, where prices have been going down and prices have been going up. And it's been it has been a roller coaster as far as the real estate market is concerned.
So I've never heard that. So 60 to 90 days kind of gives you an idea that I priced it, my priced this property right, because it's not like it was sold in 2 days, which it was like, oops, that was too low. Or like I looked at some properties in Malibu over the weekend, and their properties have been on there for 3 years. You know, there's most of them have been on the market for a year because they're overpriced.
Well, one of three things happen when you put your house on the market, and I don't, and one of them is people get really crazy is nobody shows up and shows it, or very few, and that means the brokers also think that not only is the agent, it's either he's not marketing it correctly, or it's just overpriced and nobody's going to show it, thinking that you're asking an unreasonable price, so you'll take a realistic price. The second thing that happens is that you're getting a lot of showings, but nobody's making any offers, and that means they're comparing your house to other homes on the market.
Oh, really?
And you're not really stacking up. And the third thing that hopefully is you put your house on the market and you get an offer that's acceptable to you.
Wow.
It's pretty simple.
Well, you made it pretty simple. That's good. Well, thank you, Dave. I'm going to talk about some mortgage, and I don't care what you think, but we're going to come back and talk about some more real estate and mortgages. You're listening to your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.